Welcome back to the Big Red HockeyCast. I'm back this week alongside my boy Aakshay. Aakshay, how we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Good weekend?
Yep.
Amazing weekend for the Big Red. 2 wins to cap off a weekend sweep, and we got a 3-game winning streak. So, let's just jump right into it, man.
Looking good. First game against St. Lawrence on Friday. Lots of going back and forth, and I think the final score kind of showed that, 7-6.
Yeah, no, of course. I think it was definitely, I wouldn't say it was one-sided at any point, quite the nail-biter, I would say.
I think so. I think notably the first 2 goals by Van Gelder after St. Lawrence got that first goal. Just keeping the Red in it and throughout the game.
Yeah. I gotta say though, quite not the best show on the penalty kill, but still a very, very good game. And I think, what about those 2 shorties, dude?
Daniels and Delianitas just really great in that third period to cement that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What a win for the Big Red. Quite a back and forth and amazing show to watch. How about Clarkson though?
Number 10 Clarkson. They crushed them. 8-1.
That's an understatement.
And 8 different people getting on that score sheet is just crazy.
I love to see that. The scoring depth is truly amazing. Like that's something I have we've yet to see this season. Such scoring depth from the Big Red. The lines truly rolling, people just spilling over the boards. Absolutely amazing. And also the first goal of the season for Paige Kenyon.
Just the icing on the cake with that 8-1 win.
Absolutely. What a way to cap off the weekend sweep. And speaking of Paige Kenyon, let's get right to the sin bin because we've got number 17, Paige Kenyon, in the sin bin this week. So without further ado, let's cut right to it.
Let's do it.
All right, welcome back to the Sin Bin here on the Big Red HockeyCast, and today we have a very special guest. We're joined by Paige Kenyon. Paige, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So, a big weekend for the Big Red. So let's talk about Friday's game versus St. Lawrence first. A very high-scoring game, and the Big Red ends up getting the dub, 7-6 in the end. What went right in your eyes?
So I think, obviously, we had a lot of goals against, but I think our scoring ability was what ultimately led us to winning that game. Yeah.
All right.
And as part of the win, 2 shorties from line mates Daniel and Delianitas in the third period to cement that win. So how was the bench feeling when those 2 went in?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we knew that we could win that game, but definitely those 2 goals helped us gain some confidence, and the bench was pumped. Lots of energy on the bench, yeah.
Oh, of course. And, what were Coach's post-game thoughts following the win on Friday?
Following Friday, if I remember correctly, he said, obviously, we had trouble scoring the previous weekend, so this was a good look for us that we could score, but we had, like I said, a lot of goals against, so that was something we definitely needed to work on. And then, going into Saturday, I think, fixed that. So
yeah, of course.
Now on to Saturday against the number 10 Clarkson Golden Knights. To say that the Big Red came down with a vengeance would, I think, be an understatement. So what really clicked?
Yeah. So again, our scoring ability, I don't know, 8 goals from 8 different people was, I think, shows our depth on our team this year. Last year we had some trouble scoring, so just definitely, and we have a history of playing Clarkson and it being really close games. Yeah. So just that, yeah.
Of course, Clarkson, always the heavily anticipated matchup. And, you also mentioned scoring depth because you guys scored 5 second-period goals. What was Coach's message during the first intermission? Because I always feel like that's, a pattern with the team. You get guys have a decent start, but then you have an explosion in the second period. So what was Coach's message during that first intermission?
So we've actually been talking about our starts because they hadn't been that great before that. And his message after the first was that was a much better start. At that point, it was only 2-1, but obviously those words of encouragement gave us that extra push and confidence, I think. Yeah.
So 8 different scorers on the score sheet. What was it like to see so many people, including yourself, I may add, contributing offensively to that final score? Yeah,
so I think it also gave us some confidence for the season that we could score lots of goals because especially from 8 different people, 4 of them being defensemen, I think. Mm-hmm. it's just like it's nice to have confidence that we have that depth and that we can do that, and that we can put different people on the ice and they can all score. That's nice. Yeah.
And I mean, let's focus on that for a moment, because you had your first tally of the season, so walk us through that moment. How did it feel to score your first collegiate goal?
A little bit funny because it's my senior year, obviously, but we didn't have a sophomore season. My freshman season ended early, and our team was like amazing that year. I didn't see that much ice time my freshman year. Just like our team was so good. So it was nice to finally like get on the score sheet. Yeah, like it was a really good feeling.
So let's talk about teammate, big captain Gillis Frechette, in the scoring column with 7 points, which is just an unreal number, and bringing her up to 98 career points. So really close to 100. A lot of the season's left. So do you see her break that 100-point mark next weekend alone, or do you think it's going to take some time? Because I think at this rate, it's going to happen next game.
I got money on this, so be careful.
Nah, I don't think she's going to break it. Just kidding. Yeah. I think next weekend, probably, hopefully, but she will definitely break that in the near future.
That's good.
Yeah, confident in that.
And
that's good. I like that answer.
And part of her game, like, what do you think has brought her to like be such good at like scoring points so efficiently? Like, what do you see in her game?
Yeah, I think she's first of all, she has 2 great line mates that like they all have great scoring ability and like work really well together. But I think she just knows like the right spots to be and can bury the puck. She knows where to put the puck, and she's always there to put it in.
Yeah.
And on top of that, she has a really good shot. Like, yeah, she can score.
Yeah, definitely a big weekend for Gillis, and of course, big shout out there. But let's talk about your career with the Big Red for a second. What's one word that you would use to describe your game personally?
I think that I'm definitely more of a defensive defenseman. Mm-hmm. But something I've been trying to work on is my offensive game. Like obviously being defensively sound is important to me, but just trying to add that offensive element, and that comes with like confidence, I think too. So just trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And mentioned being in your senior season. Is there an aspect of your game that you're looking to improve upon as you finish this final season?
Yeah. So I had a meeting with coach at the beginning of this year, and I said to him like openly and honestly, I was like, I want to score. Like I really want to score. Like I want to score some goals, and so that is definitely something I'm working on this year. Hopefully I can get there.
And what is some advice that you would like to leave behind to the underclassmen, as like you're a senior kind of looking over them?
Yeah. One thing that people always say as seniors, I think, is to never say no to things. If your teammates ask you to hang out on the weekend, get lunch, things like that.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. Like that has been something I've tried to do since freshman year, just like always saying yes to things. But another thing is not to take yourself too seriously. I think being around like a competitive team for 4 years, you can definitely be really hard on yourself. And I think it's sometimes good to take a step back and realize that there are other things in life than like hockey, and it's good to be like a complete well-rounded person, as well as like having your focus at the rink. Yeah. No,
I actually love that you brought that up, because of course the mark of a true player is not only what they do on the ice but off the ice as well. And actually 2 of our previous guests on the Sin Bin have said that they look up to you as a mentor figure throughout their careers with the Big Red. And so as a senior, just going off of that, how important is leadership and being a good role model for the younger ones?
Yeah. It's really important, I believe. I think having good leaders on a team, which I definitely believe that we have this year, can make or break your team culture. And I'm really confident that with this year's leaders, we have a really good team culture, and it's because of the leaders that we have, I think.
Yeah.
And who was your mentor during your time with the Big Red? And do you see any similarities between what you're pushing on to the younger ones as they did on you?
So my freshman year, one of my freshman year captains, Micah, all familiar with her.
Yep.
She is like by far the greatest captain I've ever had, and I definitely like try to. I think everyone who was on that team tries to push along what she would push on to us, and something that she would say to us is that people won't remember how good you were at hockey, how many goals you scored, all that, but people will always remember the type of person you were and how you treated them. And I think that's something that I try to remind myself of and try to remind like my teammates of. I just think it's really important.
Yeah, and I'll bet it was good to see her a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
too,
really nice.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen her since my freshman year, actually.
Oh, really?
So it's been 3 years,
Oh, nice. And I mean, so let's take it back to the beginning, because growing up in the suburbs of Hamilton in Ancaster, Ontario, what got you into playing hockey originally?
Yeah, so there is a big hockey community in Ancaster. I have an older sister whose friends started playing hockey. They're older brothers and stuff.
Okay.
Like they got into it because of that, and me being the younger sister was just like, I'm gonna follow what my older sister does. So I got into playing hockey there, and then just at like a low level, and then eventually wanted to get more competitive, so left to a different center, and took off from there.
And you came to Cornell after 2 years as captain at Bishop Tonos High School in Ancaster. So what was that Cornell recruiting experience like? When did it start? What were all the factors and everything?
So for me, I think everyone's different with their recruiting, but for me, it started in grade 8 is when I first talked to Cornell, and like my coach would put me in touch with the like coaches of universities. So for Cornell, I was talking to Coach Edith, I believe, mostly, but my high school hockey coach was Laura Fortino's dad. And he definitely pushed me to go to Cornell too, because he would talk in my ear all the time, like about how great Cornell is and how I'm gonna love it there. And when Laura was around, she would definitely do the same. So I had some familiarity with Cornell, and from the first time I visited, loved it. But as for recruiting, it started from an early age, and then I committed eventually in grade 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No. And so, of course, we're all really happy you're here. It wouldn't be the same without you, But one last question before we wrap up the Sin Bin here. The Big Red have the famed Dartmouth-Harvard road trip this weekend, and what are your 3 keys to getting that weekend sweep and keeping the streak alive?
Yeah, so definitely good energy. I think we struggled we had a tough weekend away, Harvard Dartmouth last year. And I think something that we can take away from that is to have really good energy this year. I think like relentless play on them, like we saw this past weekend, like it really works for us. And then I think confidence that we can beat anyone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely confidence in crashing the net, I would say. Yeah, for sure. And, of course, we're so looking forward to that series, especially Lina East. That's my favorite venues. And now, of course, so thank you so much, Paige, for your time on the Sin Bin. But you listeners already know what's up next. It's the Slapshot round right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Slapshot round, where we ask hard-hitting, fun questions and have you answer them as quickly as you can. So, per tradition, we always got to ask the first question. Paige, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, boy.
All right. Favorite rink you've ever played in besides Lina?
Princeton.
Hobie Baker. I love it. I was just there.
I know.
It's such an amazing rink.
Everyone's
Such an
gonna hate
amazing
me
rink.
for saying that, but
What? Why? No, that's a
I
great
remember
one.
with Princeton. I like it
yeah,
though. K
that's true.
Princeton, yeah.
That's true. No, favorite form of potato?
I like the sweet potato, but I like russet more.
I love how you went. That's not originally what I had in mind, but that was a great answer. I was more thinking along the line, like, potato chips, French fries.
Yeah.
That was,
but what's your
that was a great answer.
What's your favorite preparation of potato?
French fries.
All right. Me too.
Sorry, that was great.
Best saying from Coach.
I don't think I can repeat it, but he has lots of stories that he places himself as the main character in to tell us. Ooh. And before, he always tells us a story before a game that's supposed to be like inspirational and motivational. I can't remember like one specific one right now, but those are always fun.
Does he is it a new story every week, or does he have a cycle?
So I've heard a few of the same stories, but they're supposed to be new, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then late night or early morning practice, if you had to choose.
Can I say neither?
I would go with neither as well.
Valid answer. Favorite sport to play other than hockey?
Volleyball.
Ooh. What?
Yeah.
Do you have a specific position that you?
No.
No?
I played volleyball when I was younger in elementary school. Never played it in high school, but always really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, did you play defense or forward first?
I played forward until about 7 years ago. So halfway through hockey now, I guess I switched to defense. But yeah, forward first.
Okay.
All right. Favorite hangout spot with friends in Ithaca?
Other than my house.
Yeah, I
guess. Maybe somewhere outside, like Stewart Park. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, favorite sport to watch other than hockey?
I would say basketball.
Basketball?
I like how fast paced it is, similar to hockey.
Do you have a favorite team?
The Toronto Raptors.
Mike is going to love that answer. And now, if you could take a road trip across North America with two teammates, who would you choose and why?
I think Rory would be one of them, and I think Gabby would be another.
Okay.
They're both very adventurous and outdoorsy, and I think they'd have a lot of fun with it.
Now, where would you go?
I have always wanted to road trip across Canada to the West Coast, either way, from the West Coast to East Coast or vice versa. But
Halifax to Vancouver is on my bucket list. Just putting that out there. That's
a long
on my bucket
road
list.
trip.
Yep.
All right. Which hockey player do you emulate your game after?
I would say I try to be like Micah. I think that she's so good. And my defensive game, Micah, and I think she's kind of a defensive player that is still offensive, but in a different way than an offensive defenseman, I think. And I think I could be most like her. So I like to try and
I love that. And are you a fan of the Tragically Hip?
No, unfortunately. My dad is, but
your dad is? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just,
All right, nice. No.
Sorry.
I wasn't sure what to expect with that. No. All good.
As long as someone in the family is.
Yeah. No.
3 words to describe Ancaster.
Old.
Okay.
Pretty. Historically pretty, and maybe boring.
Is there so? Say I'm going to Ancaster for the first time. Where are you telling me to go?
I've
been there.
Away from Ancaster.
Away
from Ancaster.
Maybe to a local waterfall, but
okay.
Other than that, it reminds me of Ithaca a little bit. But Ithaca is more fun, obviously. With Cornell here.
Of course, we love Ithaca. And,
do you have an early Stanley Cup prediction?
I don't want to say Toronto Maple Leafs, but I'm going to because I feel like I have to. I'm a Toronto fan.
They're on a win streak.
I know, but
3 games according to Mike.
Yeah. We'll see if that continues. But for right now, they're playing Something okay.
Yeah, for all of us here at the BRSN that have to deal with Mike, we hope that continues.
Yeah.
And now, music artist you've been listening to nonstop recently.
Mount Joy, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with them. What kind of music are they?
I would say like indie folk. I don't know. I feel like that's becoming more popular.
No. I am certainly a crate digger when it comes to like trying to find new music. So like I will certainly give that a listen.
Dogs or cats, and why?
I have both, but
okay.
dogs.
Dogs?
Yeah, they're a lot more friendly.
Do you have a favorite breed of dog?
No, but I have Schnauzer Poodle mix, so
that's
maybe
really cute.
something like that.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, now this is an interesting question. When is an acceptable time to start playing holiday music? Before or after? Now I'm going to put this in parentheses, American Thanksgiving.
I would say after. I think December is a good time.
Okay, December?
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe in the last couple days of November.
Yeah.
I'm
still recovering from the
turkey. I was gonna say I honestly broke out the ugly sweaters the day after Halloween, so you know.
Right. As long as you're not wearing it here.
Yeah. No, exactly. And now, of course, thank you so much for joining us here on the Slapshot Round Paige. It's been an honor to have you. Best of luck this weekend, especially at Line East. I can't wait to see that.
Thank you.
Good luck and thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right. As per tradition, always good to hear from Paige Kenyon. A great conversation, wouldn't you say, Aakshay?
I thought it was enlightening.
No, of course. And, we got a lot to look forward to. It's a big week ahead. The Big Red looks to continue their winning streak against Ivy League rivals Dartmouth and Harvard on the road this weekend. The Crimson are currently riding a 2-game winning streak after a brief road trip and are definitely hungry for more as they return to Bright Landry Hockey Center, a.k.a. Lina East for our fans. So this will definitely be an exciting matchup to watch. On a personal level, I'm definitely looking for more net front presence and crashing the net. How about yourself, Aakshay?
Yeah, I think getting those greasy goals is just really important, and just making sure that we have a good start from the first period, as opposed to what we've seen in the previous games where we still win, but we get hungry in the second period.
No. Getting a good start out of the gate is definitely important. And, I'll be honest, this is going to be a great precursor to our game against Northeastern in Nashville, given that the Harvard women's team are actually the Beanpot champions from last year. So this will be a very, very exciting matchup to watch. Puck drop is 6 p.m. Friday and 3 p.m. Saturday, respectively. So be sure to tune in to support, or if you're local, come support. And with that, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Big Red HockeyCast for and from the Line of Faithful. This has been a Big Red Sports Network production. BRSN is a student-run organization dedicated to promoting the voices of Cornell student athletes. Make sure to check out Cornell BRSN on Instagram and at www.cornellbrsn.com. As always, special thanks to our producers Mike Farku, Matthew Furman, Abby Ruggiero, Gabe Zolot, Jay Klein, and the entire BRSN team. Ciao for now.